A new documentary about the life and reign of Queen Margrethe II of Denmark premieres on TV2. The King and the Queen of the Belgians attend a concert in Brussels. And members of the royal family of Spain preside over the 2024 Pascua Militar. All this and much more? Well, not really. It's a slow news day. Coming up next on your Royal Daily News. Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you're doing well. My name is Alexandra, and welcome to your Royal Daily News for Saturday, January 6th, 2024. Well, gracias a Dios, one of my favorite royal families to report about is finally back and ready to get to work. In Madrid, Their Majesties King Felipe VI and Queen Letizia of Spain, accompanied by Her Royal Highness Princess Leonor of Asturias, presided over the traditional Pascua Militar celebrations at Palacio Real de Madrid. The solemn ceremony marks the beginning of the military year. The tradition of celebrating Pascua Militar dates back to the 18th century during the reign of King Carlos III. On January 6, 1782, King Carlos III recovered the island of Menorca from the British after the landing and siege of Manon by the Franco-Spanish fleet, consisting of 52 ships with 8,000 soldiers on board. Quote, this victorious feat of arms induced by the king to proclaim Pascua Militar. As an expression of joy, King Carlos III ordered the viceroys, captains general, governors, and military commanders that, on the Feast of the Epiphany, they gather the garrisons and notify the commanders and officers of their armies in the name of their congratulations. End quote. In accordance with the provisions of Royal Decree No. 913 on September 6, 2002, of the Institucional de las Fuerzas Armadas, different events are organized to commemorate this date, chaired by the, quote, corresponding general or admiral in those cities designated as the headquarters of said representation. End quote. The cities include La Coruña, Barcelona, Cartagena, Rota, Valencia, Sevilla, Santa Cruz de Tenerife, and Palma de Mallorca, to name a few. A similar event is also held in the city of Mahón. Upon their arrival on Plaza de la Almudena, Their Majesties and the Princess were warmly welcomed by the Prime Minister of Spain, Mr. Pedro Sánchez Pérez Castejón, the Spanish Minister of Defense, Ms. Margarita Robles, the Chief of the Defense Staff, Admiral General Teodoro Esteban López Calderón, and the Minister of the Interior, Mr. Fernando Grande Gómez. After the ceremonial honors, which included a 21-gun salute and the national anthem, His Majesty the King, accompanied by the Chief of the Defense Staff, the head of the military quarter, and the Chief Colonel of the Royal Guard in Command, reviewed the formation and honors units. In the afternoon, Their Majesties and the Princess arrived in the Ambassador's Hall at Palacio Real de Madrid, where they met with the representatives from the Patrimonio Nacional y de Cuatro Militar, including the Managing Director at the Patrimonio Nacional, Ms. Maria Dolores Mendez. Thereafter, in the Saleta Gasparini, Their Majesties and the Princess welcomed high-ranking military officials from the branches of the Spanish Armed Forces, including General Miguel Ángel Villarroya of the Spanish Air Force. In the throne room, His Majesty the King presented medals and decorations to 20 soldiers. Then, the King gave a speech stating, quote, this celebration is not just another one for the crown. It is the 10th Pascua Militar that I have the honor of presiding over, and it happily coincides with the fact that for the first time the Princess of Asturias is accompanying us. That she, as a lady cadet of the Academia General Militar de Zaragoza, has initiated her military training plan this year. So, together with the Queen and the Princess, as Supreme Command, I am happy to convey my congratulations and annual recognition to the components of the Armed Forces and the Civil Guard, to the members of the National Intelligence Center, and to the group of men and women, civilians and soldiers who, in the ministry or in any field, serve defense and national security. On days like today, but also on any occasion, it is of utmost importance to remember the sacrifice and commitment of all those who, in national territory or in areas of operation, work with total dedication every day of the year to guarantee our safety and well-being, and with them, their families and loved ones. Dear companions, on December 6th, our Constitution turned 45 years old, guiding the free and democratic path taken then by the Spanish people. A little more than a month before and before the Cortes Generales, the Princess of Asturias swore the Constitution, thus renewing the Crown's commitment to that path and to all the values, principles, and its rights it establishes and which have since governed the lives of all Spaniards. During this almost half-century, the armed forces have fulfilled with determination, selflessness, effectiveness, and dignity your mission of helping to guarantee the security conditions necessary so that we Spaniards can enjoy our rights and freedoms. Your dedication is therefore exemplary and deserves all the respect and the highest recognition. The defense of the framework of coexistence democratically chosen by the Spanish people is a living testimony of your commitment to society and also of loyalty to our allies in search of a safer and more just world. In conclusion, I want to convey to you the sincere and deep affection of the Crown towards those of you who are a part of the armed forces, the Civil Guard, and the National Intelligence Center. Because by offering a life of sacrificial and selfless service to others, you are a great reflection of the nobility of the Spanish people. And now, as a sign and testimony of your commitment and dedication, I ask you to unite and shout together, Viva España! Today's celebrations ended with a cocktail reception in the Salón de Columnas. On a side note, the Princess recently concluded her first semester of military training at the Academia General on December 22nd. The Princess, along with her classmates, also spent several days in northern Spain, carrying out several mountain and ski exercises. On Monday, Princess Leonor will return to her classes at the Academia General Militar de Zaragoza. Last evening in Brussels, Their Majesties King Philippe and Queen Mathilde of the Belgians attended a celebratory concert on the occasion of Belgium taking over the presidency of the Council of the European Union. This evening, the new documentary entitled Queen Margrethe II, 52 Years as Denmark's Regent, premiered on TV2 Play and on TV2. The official synopsis reads as follows, quote, "For 52 years, Queen Margrethe has followed her duty as Denmark's monarch and the nation's permanent anchor. But it was certainly not something that was in the cards when the 31-year-old crown princess was proclaimed regent on a cold January day in 1972. In the new documentary, Queen Margrethe II, 52 Years as Denmark's Regent, we look back at the Queen's life, upbringing, and her 52 years as Denmark's regent through rare and personal archive clips and interviews with some of those who have been closest to her over the time as Queen. Together with Ulla Terliksen and Hans Engel, we draw a portrait of a queen and a person who has always put duty first and through generations has stood as a common rallying point for the Danes." End quote. Queen Margrethe II, 52 Years as Denmark's Regent, is now available to watch on TV2 and TV2 Play. Just on a side note, I'm pretty sure within the coming days, someone will upload this documentary to YouTube, and when I find it, I will let you know. Meanwhile, DR and TV2 will team up for a new program entitled Denmark's Queen, The Biggest Thank You, which will broadcast live on DR1 and TV2 from Kongens Nytor in Copenhagen on Friday, January 12th at 7:30 p.m. According to a press release, the live show, hosted by Ms. Natasha Crone and her friend Stephanie, will feature, quote, "music and dance performances and surprising gifts from the Danes and the Commonwealth of Nations to the Queen. The show will allow the people the opportunity to gather and show what the Queen has meant to them as a common for the past 52 years. End quote. Also, if you're a fan of the show X Factor and are dying to watch the episode on Friday, January 12th, well, I'm sorry to burst your X Factor bubble, but your favorite show has been bumped to the 9:30 p.m. slot. You'll survive, at least for a couple hours. Denmark's Queen, The Biggest Thank You, produced by Nordisk Film TV for DR and TV2, will again air live on January 12th at 7:30 p.m. Enjoy. It sounds like it's going to be a fun show. And there you have it. Thank you all so much for joining me this afternoon. I really do appreciate it. I will be back on Monday, actually. Why? Well, just like yesterday, tomorrow on Sunday, I want to spend time at the beach with my friends. Where I live, it's summer. It's beautiful, warm, hot, tropical weather. The water is warm, and I just want to spend the day in the ocean. So I wish you all a wonderful weekend, and I will see you all on Monday. Take care.